Bubbly Steve is available for pre-order at shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. You've got less than a month to pre-order this 15-inch plushie. Check them out. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. The Black Widow debacle. We talked yesterday about how the Bobs, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, were clashing over Black Widow, and now things have gone from bad to worse. Now Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney, claiming she's not getting the amount of money she thought she was going to get because they went to Disney Plus with Black Widow. It's a mess. We're going to talk about it. Wall Street Journal has some information on it. We put a story up on piratesandprincesses.net earlier today, and yeah, I don't think we're going to see her in the MCU anytime soon. She doesn't seem very happy about this.
But she's supposed to be doing their Tower of Terror movie.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 233,000?
23,000. We didn't jump that much. But yay, 23.
Yay, 23. All right. So thanks for the support. Been a crazy weekend. Lots of stuff going on here. We've been talking about Black Widow and how it didn't go the way Disney was hoping. Now, they tried to put a positive spin on, hey, it made $80 million at the box office. And
yeah, but they claimed that it's 60 million on Disney Plus Premier Access the first weekend, too.
Yeah, and apparently ScarJo is not getting a cut of that, or she's not getting as much as she wanted, and she's claiming they breached her contract because most of her compensation was supposed to come from theatrical release.
Well, it's interesting. I'll let you go into it here in a minute, but I know that in other stories I've covered in the past, they've been having trouble with Hollywood about streaming in general, how they rewrite these contracts now because it's completely different than how everything was before, and they're trying to write it so the studios make the lion's share of the money.
Yeah, they bring that up, actually.
They do?
Yeah, they bring it up with HBO Max and some other streaming services, Netflix. And I have to wonder if, you look at Disney Plus and, they talk about the MCU, but what I'm seeing beyond them replacing all the male leads with female characters is younger, cheaper actors and actresses. Let's replace, Tony Stark with whoever's playing Riri Williams. I don't even remember her name. Let's replace Mark Ruffalo.
It's not going to fly. It's not going to fly for a lot of these. A couple of them might do well. Like She-Hulk's pretty popular and stuff. But a lot of them, I don't think are going to do that great. People are going to be like, who the hell's this? But back to the thing about the contracts, they've run into trouble too. Like I know Bill Nye the Science Guy was suing Disney as well because with them putting things on Disney Plus, he wasn't getting paid for that. Yeah. And the logic they made and why Disney won was because they said the way the contract was set up, that it was set up that he was supposed to get money from sales from, I guess, DVD. I understand it. I might could be wrong here, but money from DVDs and things like that. And they said, well, technically they're counting that as the same thing as like the DVD sales and stuff like that. Somehow they're wording it to be that's kind of like the same thing. So he's getting no more royalties off of it. They're running it basically without giving him anything, because the way his deal was set up was they could sell DVDs and things, and they're counting it as the same thing, and they won in court that way, saying that they get that's a continuation of that. And his argument was, we couldn't have foreseen this when we made this contract in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, and that is going to happen with they're trying to get rid of residuals all the way around. It's basically like your work for hire, you get paid, because it used to be that like you could be on a sitcom. Look at people on The Cosby Show. Look at the people on Seinfeld. Like, they lived off of royalties and reruns for years. DVD sales, reruns. You were on a successful sitcom. You never had to work again, ever, because you'd get residual checks year after year. And now they're like, no, we're just going to pay you for that thing, and then you're going to move on, and that's it. And that has been a topic of conversation, and everything's going to change because of streaming. So are we going to dive into this?
Yeah, please do, because I'm not familiar with this article. You actually wrote the article on Pirates and Princesses, so I'll let you explain it.
As I understand it, the gist of it is she was trying to work out a deal for royalties on Disney Plus on streaming. That deal was not worked out. She did not think they were going to do Premier Access at the same time as the theatrical release. And she's really pissed because that's like $60 million. So here we go. Wall Street Journal broke it today. Black Widow has a new enemy, Disney. She filed a lawsuit Thursday in LA Superior Court against Disney, alleging her contract was breached when the media giant released the film on Disney Plus streaming at the same time as its theatrical debut. Johansson said in the suit that her agreement with Disney's Marvel Entertainment guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release, and her salary was based in large part on the box office performance of the film.
So they probably got her to sign on and say, well, all the Avengers movies, the Marvel movies always do really well, so you're better to let us do it this way, you'll make more money.
Well, yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about Stephen Dorff here later. He was like, yeah, what'd she get, like $5 or $7 million for that? She probably thought she's going to get a lot more because it was going to be in theaters only, and she got screwed.
Because when they filmed this and were doing this and they agreed to this deal, it was before the pandemic.
Yeah. So Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Ms. Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel.
That sounds familiar. That sounds all right.
Disney couldn't be reached for comment.
I'm sure they can't.
The suit could be a bellwether for the entertainment industry. Major media companies are prioritizing their streaming services in pursuit of growth and are increasingly putting their high-value content on those platforms. Those changes have significant financial implications for actors and producers.
That's what I was talking about.
Yep. Now, this is one of her lawyers. This will surely not be the last case where Hollywood talent stands up to Disney and makes it clear that, whatever the company may pretend, it has a legal obligation to honor its contracts.
They'll just drag it out in court until they run her out of money, or they keep running her out of money.
Warner Brothers chose to renegotiate many of its contracts that were tied to box office performance because, they decided they were going to dump all of their movies on HBO Max, which is going to kill the box office for most of the movies. So, yeah, I know... I think it was Gal Gadot got like an extra $10 million or something when they dumped Wonder Woman in '84. I can't remember the specifics, but they said she's been in 9 movies. She's been an integral part of the Marvel Universe since appearing as Black Widow in 2010.
Yep.
According to the complaint, ScarJo representatives sought to renegotiate her contract after learning of the dual release strategy for Black Widow, which she has said is her 9th and last Marvel movie. Disney and Marvel were unresponsive. So she's probably like, oh, crap, I know I'm getting paid based on theatrical release, and I know that streaming is going to cut into that. They just altered the deal.
Yeah.
They just altered the deal. Disney altered the deal.
They didn't answer. This is reminds me of the Predator thing. They knew that they knew that they were going to be running out of time. They were going to lose the right to use it. So they deliberately didn't answer. And then when they finally answered, it was like, well, you filed it wrong, so we don't have to. And that's how they got away with it, for as long as they did. Yep.
Even before the pandemic, Scarlett Johansson was concerned that Black Widow could end up on Disney Plus as part of a wide release. In 2019, her representatives reached out to Marvel seeking assurance that Black Widow would only have a theatrical release, according to the complaint. In March 2019, Marvel Chief Counsel Dave Galuzzi said the release would be according to a traditional theatrical model, adding, "We understand that should the plan change, we would need to discuss this with you and come to an understanding, as the deal is based on a series of very large box office bonuses." But they just went ahead and released on Disney Plus.
Oh, shocker.
Shocker. Disney screwed over one of its people. That's a shocker.
I know, that never happens.
Yep. So they talked about how it made $80 million at the domestic box office. Still not released in China. I don't think it's coming out in China anytime soon. And it supposedly, you have to take their word for it, did another $60 million for home release. So yeah, and then the box office fell off, and a lot of theater owners are blaming Disney for putting it on Disney
Everybody's blaming Disney. Notice that everybody's fingers are pointing back to Disney.
Well, she's probably looking at this like, this is a Marvel tentpole movie. This is the first, pandemic era Marvel movie. After theaters,
and they're sure touting it like, oh, it was a win. Black Widow did amazing. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. That's what they're touting it everywhere. But they're not apparently paying her for the streaming.
Yeah, so I would be pissed too, because I'd be like, I should be making 2 to 3 times as much money. I agreed to do this movie, and she didn't seem she was kind of like on the fence about it. I don't know, she doesn't seem terribly excited about the movie. Let's put it that way. And it could be, the reason she's not is because all this drama was going on behind the scenes, but she still had a contractual obligation to promote it.
They didn't have to honor their contractual obligation.
Yeah, exactly. I would be, but then she's probably like, well, if I don't promote it, that's just going to hurt me because people aren't going to go see it.
See, that's one thing I noticed when you work in entertainment. I think it's a load of shit. It's like I've run into stuff all the time where you have these people who act in a very unprofessional way and they screw you and they do really shitty things. And then you're supposed to say nothing because as a professional, you're supposed to act professionally and let them do it. But what happens is, and they continue to screw other people and more people because they keep getting away with it because everyone's afraid to say anything because if they're the one that rocks the boat, you're the one that's probably going to be ousted and you'll be labeled as unprofessional. Well, I think that's a load of shit. And I always get mad when that happens because why should they be allowed to get away with being very unprofessional and behaving in such a terrible way and be allowed to get away with that repeatedly? And they know they can get away with it because if you dare call them out on their shit, you're the ones behaving unprofessionally. And I have always had a problem with that. We knew when we decided to call stuff out that they were going to be like, oh, well, you're acting unprofessional. Don't care. We're tired of the way you behave. And it's going to cost us. Yeah, it cost us. Yeah. But it might help other people. I mean, it's not going to help us. But, it's this whole idea that we can treat you shitty because we're Disney is I think it's starting to bite them in the ass.
I could just see that in the Disney typeface on the shirt. We can treat you shitty.
Because we're Disney?
Because we're Disney.
Because a shirt.
That type, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd probably get sued for that.
Probably. But, and like we see that with the customers at the parks, they keep, packing them in, charging more for this, charging more for that, raising prices, nickel and diming people, putting fees on things they didn't have before. They're just walking dollar signs to them. And they're treating the people that come in as guests like crap. And now they're treating the cast members, they've been treating the cast members kind of like crap. And it's like, yeah, so the whole way around.
Yep.
It's like they really need to clean their act up, which is the only reason why we call them out like we do. Clean your act up.
Stephen Dorff, who, made an offhand comment. I guess they're friends. I guess, well, I don't know if they're still friends, but they worked together before, I guess. And he, a couple weeks ago, said that, he had no interest in doing Marvel. He said it looked like Black Widow looked like garbage. Looks like a bad video game. I'm embarrassed for those people. I'm embarrassed for Scarlett. I'm sure she got paid $5 or $7 million, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't know. Did she? She might not have gotten $5 or $7 million because her deal. She might have got screwed out of that. He said he doesn't want to be in Marvel movies, but now he's had to apologize. Well, he didn't have to, but it made all the media outlets. So it's like I love.
He
her.
wasn't. He was never saying about her. He was never dissing her.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people in this garbage movie. And
he never dissed her.
She probably feels like it's a garbage movie, too. She's like, it's a garbage movie that's costing me money because Disney screwed me over. So, yeah, will she be in that Tower of Terror movie? I don't know. It seems like most of her issue is with Marvel Entertainment.
That's on the Disney side, but still.
Yeah. She's a great actress. I heard she's going to be a mom. I wish her the best. She's an old friend. So I felt bad about that comment. But, yeah, he's like, man, I feel bad. I wonder if he's privy to some of the bitching that's going on
I don't know.
behind the scenes. Like if she's been bitching about it to her friends, because it seems like this legal thing's been going on for like 2 years now, back channel behind the scenes, people didn't know. And this stuff happens all the time. Like you see people make weird decisions or weird announcements or whatever in public. You find out later there's some other shit going on behind the scenes that might have,
influenced what they talk about. Yeah.
So I don't know, but there we go. ScarJo suing Disney. Mm-hmm. They might just throw a bunch of money at her just to shut her up.
Oh, that's how Disney resolves lots of things.
Well, yeah, they figure out, they do the math and they're like, well, it's cheaper to just give this person X millions of dollars than it is to take the PR hit, go in the court.
There was that whole fiasco with Onward and the van issue, and there was like that, that they allegedly took the idea for the van and everything else. That went. Did we hear about that again?
Nope.
No. We've had the Skyliner that was the first accident. That was bad. There was the ambulance. There was bad people up there for hours. Do you ever hear anybody talk about that? No. Because I'm sure they've signed lots of things that they can't talk about it. And then the other side, they don't do that. The other way is they just kind of stall you out in court forever until you run out of money and just give up.
Yeah, pretty much. So
they have one of two things. They do.
They make things go away one way or the other. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, oh, okay, well, thanks for your service, ScarJo. Here's another $10 million. Now shut up.
That might be all you have to do. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. Take the money and run, right?
Yeah, disagree. You won't talk about it.
Yep. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
All right. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.